Hi, guys. Happy rainy Monday. How are y'all doing? Y'all, it is raining cats and dogs here. It is like so rainy. It's just been raining nonstop, except this weekend. I thought it was going to rain out this weekend and it finally stopped, but it was raining all last week. I don't mind it because it's relaxing. How are y'all doing? Can y'all hear me okay? Put a thumbs up. I am using my computer's webcam, so the quality is what it is. It is what it is. I did not feel like getting out my camera and hooking it up and doing all the things. Okay, so y'all can hear me just fine. Yay. And I'm in my husband's office, so it's like bare bones in here. It's like a computer and a PlayStation. How have y'all been? I know I was a little bit MIA last week. I think I posted 2 videos and then I kind of dipped out of there. Oh, it's cloudy there too. It's been raining all week last week, about to start again. Like I can hear it. It's pouring. It is pouring outside. That's good to hear. You've been great. Derek said, good. Bev said, been great. I love to hear it. Can y'all believe it is June? It is summertime. Like, what? The year, where has it gone? Where has it gone? Oh, it's been hot where you're at. Yeah, it's been hot. And it's been raining here. So, yeah, time flies. I said I kind of went MIA a little bit last week, just a couple of days, nothing crazy. But I saw a lot of y'all's comments. People have been getting hired. Like I saw at least 3 like back-to-back comments saying like, "Hey, I got the job. I got hired." So congratulations to everyone who has gotten hired. Like it's amazing. I'm telling y'all, you gotta put in these applications. Gotta keep on putting in those apps. And I always tell y'all, you wanna aim for at least 25 plus a week. And if you break that down, that is like 5 times 5. So 5 applications a day keeps the bad jobs away. You'll be gainfully employed. So that's what I always say. it takes a lot of applications. It's going to feel like you are looking for a job. And I actually tested this out this time last year and just as recently at the top of the year, because you guys know we have the AI feature in the software. So in order for me to, add that feature and make it to where it actually works, I had to do a lot of testing. I did a ton of testing. So I actually did, the whole process of applying to these jobs. And I was like making myself go strict to it, because I'm testing out these applications. I'm testing out letting AI just do it. I'm testing out AI plus my brain. I'm testing out, just me customizing, and every variation that you can think of. And I am telling y'all, the reason why I always say the best way to use the AI feature in the software is to, start off with the template, customize it to the best of your ability, and then use the AI feature where it's going to tell you, number one, if you're a good match. And then number two, what to do, like literally copy and paste what to say, is because AI makes stuff up. Like, we know this. They call it hallucinating. I don't know why they give it such a name. AI just makes stuff up. So you don't want AI to just do the whole thing because they'll make it up. And then you also don't want it to do the whole thing because for whatever reason, the best results come when it's you plus AI. So that's why I say customize to the best of your ability first, then use the AI feature. I tried it out. I'm telling y'all, extensive testing went into this feature. This was something that was in the works for a long time. I'm just a girl in Georgia, okay? Just a mom, just a wife. And, I have this software and we've got the AI built into it. And so I'm literally doing testing. Like, this is all I'm doing. Eat, sleep, take care of the kids, test this AI. And I'm telling you, the best results come from you plus AI. Do not let AI make your resume by itself. I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong. People will say like, oh, I've been putting in a bunch of applications. But what they're actually doing is they're just like feeding AI the job and saying, hey, make me a resume. And AI, for whatever reason, AI only created resumes don't go anywhere. I don't know if the robot recognizes another robot. I don't know if it's like that. It's like, hey, you're a robot. You're not a real person. I don't know. I'm just telling y'all what I have found from actually doing exactly what I recommend to y'all. So 25 plus a week. If you are going to use AI, make sure that you're using your, Noodle too. Do the best you can and then let it help you. But don't just do like all AI for your resume. It's not going to go anywhere. You said your job is downgrading and many jobs have been eliminated, and yours was one of them. I'm sorry to hear that. What was your job? What happened? Looking for work from home chat only. That would be the one. It sure would. You are welcome, Deborah. Very welcome. And see, I don't think a lot of people know that, but I mean, I'm just telling y'all from my actual experience. Testing out making this feature required me to make a bunch of resumes, and to know if they work, you have to actually apply. I landed a bunch of interviews when I did it the way that I'm telling y'all. companies were reaching out. That's why I say what I say. Companies are hiring, you guys. They are hiring. And you just have to put yourself out there, put your best foot forward. It takes a lot of applications, even when doing all of the best practices. But one thing I can tell you, your application is going to go absolutely nowhere using just AI. And if you do happen to get a job, I mean, congratulations, that's a blessing. But with the just AI resumes, you're spinning your wheels. Oh, you've never seen me live. That's because I rarely go live. I mean, I try and go live as often as I can. Like I went live a couple of weeks ago and I said I'm going to start doing a weekly live. That is on the plan. Like that's my plan. I'm doing good now because it was 2 weeks ago when I last went live. And y'all know I will go like 3-4 months before I go live again. But I don't think YouTube even showed that one to anyone because it doesn't even have 1,000 views. I have went live on my phone, and right now I'm live on StreamYard. I don't know if it makes a difference with the algorithm. That was the first time I had ever gone live from my phone. And I thought YouTube wanted you to do it native on their platform, but literally the video went nowhere. So I don't know. Maybe it was the time that I did it, or I don't know. But yeah, I do plan on going live. I'm going to say weekly, but I know myself, probably like once every other week because, I want to chat with you guys. And I have found that this is the best way to chat with y'all. With the robot and things. Speaking of which, before I go there, I had this comment that I wanted to look at. Where was it? Okay, you said your company was hit with a 2.7 billion with a B lawsuit. I never seen class action big. What happened? Something must have happened to get hit with that. Billion with a B. That's right, Bev. It's frustrating, but you got to keep going because winners never lose and losers never win. Come on. You started your job. Yay! You started your job today. Congratulations. What job was it? Because there's one that I had said they will probably move that process along like boom, boom, boom because of the start date. And I am very curious if it's the same company. If you say the name of the company, it's going to jog my memory. Because like I literally just posted one that said it was going to start with like a crazy turnaround time. And someone had left a comment and said, but don't they have to do the background check and all of that and blah, blah, blah. And I want to say it was a temp role. I post a lot of jobs, so forgive me if I am thinking of the wrong one. But that position, I knew it was going to go quickly. And that's another thing. I'm glad that you brought that up. I'm glad you got hired because it reminds me with these temp roles, a lot of times all of that rigmarole that these companies want to do, taking forever to do the background. And maybe you might have to have references and, all these other things, multiple rounds. With temp roles, they don't really do all of that. It is not uncommon for a temp position to just be doing a mass hiring. I have done temp positions like that. When I tell you I've worked from home, you guys. I've done a temp role where it was like, come one, come all. And these folks could barely use a computer. It was just sort of like they needed a bunch of people and folks would weed themselves out. So that's not uncommon if you see a job that has like a quick turnaround time for getting hired, they're not doing all these crazy steps. And typically, temp positions are the ones that skip all those extra steps. Now, yeah, it's a temp position. You know it's going to end before it even begins, but that'll hold you over until you find the thing that you're going to do long term. So it's a strategy. Oh, this is a good question. So you have an MBA. Wow, congratulations. You are highly educated. Hmm. Okay. So I want to give you guys real information, real answers. And sometimes those answers aren't what we want to hear. I don't know. But this is what I would say. HR is a very challenging field to get your foot in. That's just what it's been for many people. So you definitely have a leg up by having your MBA. And what I would say is this: I would give myself a timeline. And I would start off with, I'm looking for remote positions. You're applying to remote positions that you qualify for with your MBA that has a concentration in HR. These are likely going to still be beginner friendly, way below your education level. Give that a good 60 days. You're hitting your 25 a week. That would mean you've put in 200 applications. And so after 60 days, 2 months, I would evaluate, have I gotten any bites? Out of 200 applications, somebody better have called you back. If nobody has called you back, then I would move on to the next step, which is maybe I can find something that is hybrid. Something local to you that would work, but they also offer work from home. And you may find, and not even may, I'm going to say I'm like 98% confident that you're going to start getting a flood of interviews when you open up your job search with your MBA and your concentration in HR to hybrid positions. That's because a lot of people don't want to go in the office at all. Even if the place is right up the street, they don't want to go. So you're dealing with a lower competition pool. And if you don't really get much traction there, I'd give that another 30 to 60 days. I would then say, I need me a job. That might mean going into an office to get your foot in the door for HR. I know you don't want to hear that. But yeah, the remote work enthusiast will tell you that, because certain fields, they're so highly coveted and in demand, and there's 1,000,001 people. You can get that experience on your resume, and then maybe a year and a half, 2 years later, you can set your sights on 100% remote, and it's going to be a different situation for you. That's my real honest answer. So yeah. Oh, it was Honor? Ah! Hey! Awesome. Honor Technology, Care Solution Services, and you start collections on the 22nd. Woo! Yay! congratulations. You're going to stay in insurance, Medicare specifically as a dependent. Nice. You've been working from home for over 13 years and love it. You got me beat. 10 years of the game over here. You got me beat. You don't want hybrid, only remote. And I understand that. And y'all, I will tell you this, okay? 10 years ago, I was straight out of college, got hired for my marketing job in insurance. I traveled for my role. I was always on a plane. Monday, I'd go into the office. Sometimes, depending on where I had to go, I would leave from the office and go straight to the airport and fly from Hartsfield Jackson to wherever it is that I needed to be. And I wouldn't come home till Friday. Those were like the toughest weeks. It was an easier week if I was able to go home and sleep in my own bed Monday night and just get up at like 4:30 a.m. so that I could be on a plane and go out to my territory in Virginia. And then I thought like, hey, this is a little bit easier when I got to just drive to like parts of Georgia. Couldn't sleep at home because I was too far, but still, I'll take it. And that's what led me to remote work, because doing that job where I traveled for my career, it burnt me out fast. And I never intended on getting a remote job. That was not the goal. The goal after like doing that job, it was a year, I was like, you know what? I just don't want to travel anymore. Like if I could just come home and sleep in my own bed at night, that would be grand. That's all I wanted. But I got even better. I got remote work. And 10 years in the game, you know, it literally changed my life, because I thought, you know what, there's no better opportunities out here. You know, this job is the best thing that'll, you know, come my way. Yeah, and the thing is, thinking about that now, it was so silly, but I didn't know anything. I had just graduated from college. I'm like 22, you know, but you live and you learn. And I just couldn't take the job anymore. So I said, hey, I got to go. I got to do something else. And that's when I found remote work. And that's when I said, hey, you know what? Let me share this with other people. At the time, online courses were, you know, hot. I made a course and the rest is history. And that's why I share the mega list of jobs, because the one thing that would have made a huge difference for my situation when I was just stressed out, but I'm like, I can't leave my job. What am I going to do? I didn't know about all of these companies. That's why I share all of these companies on my website in the mega list of jobs, because the more companies you know about out there and you know what they hire for, the more confident you will feel about, hey, I can find something that works for me. So you guys use the mega list. Like we update this in real time. Let me actually go look at it if we got to 1,000 companies yet. Are we at 1,000 yet? Okay, I think we need to update it from last week. I know I shared a couple of new companies last week. We should be at 1,000 next time we update it, because it's been like maybe a week and a half. So there's 998 companies on there. Let me share my screen in case y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Google is requesting, okay. I don't know what that means. Okay. Hopefully y'all can see my screen. Let me go back because I'm only on my laptop. Okay, yeah, y'all can see my screen. Okay, so my website is remoteworklife.co, and there is a resource on here called the Mega List of Jobs. This is just a spreadsheet of all the companies that I have shared since 2017. My very first YouTube video was 2017. We are currently at 998 companies. You can search the mega list. Let's say you're into healthcare. You can type in health and it'll show you that these companies are tagged as offering something within healthcare. There are 138 companies that we have tagged as offering remote healthcare opportunities. So you can search this for, all sorts of things. We use very general tags like customer service. You can see like pretty much everyone offers customer service. I think you can search for chat. Yeah. So for the person who had asked about chat, there are a few companies, a few that have tagged as offering chat positions. And, you can even do like data entry. There's even more companies that offer data entry. So, yeah, this is on my website. So, anytime you're looking for a job or you're looking for, companies that offer certain things, go to the mega list. You're going to find something. That's how you can get your 5 in a day. Because another thing is me being, on these internet streets all these years, sharing these jobs, I understand that there are some days where the leads are piping hot. And then there are other days where it's like, where are all the leads? Like we're in the summer season. So with it being summertime, people are in and out of the office. People are taking their vacation. You might find more times than not that you're really going to have to do some searching and these leads aren't going to just fall into your lap because, they're spread out. So the mega list is your go-to, to make sure you hit that 5 a day. You can say, I'm going to look at all companies that start with the C and I'm going to check their careers page and see if they have anything. And that can, help you get your, 5 a day. This is a good question. What would be the best way to get back into the workforce when you've been out of work for a while due to a disability? Well, you can for anyone who's asking like what would be the best way to get back into the workforce, you can interchange that with your situation. I've gotten this question a lot. I have 2 kids. They're 1 and 4. A lot of families, the best situation for them is for, that first couple of years when your kids are young, you kind of take a step back from work, you know? Sometimes things happen. You might be taking care of, an elderly family member, an elderly parent, you're a caregiver. Or maybe you get injured and you have a disability and you're out of the workforce. So whatever your scenario is, just insert it there. But how do you get back into the workforce? Well, this is there's a few things that you can do. So this is kind of like how I mentioned with the HR thing. You want to take a strategized approach, and there are a few checkpoints. So the first thing that I would do is I would, make sure that my resume, I've got my base resume, and make sure that, my work history doesn't go beyond 10 years. You might have this old dusty resume somewhere and it's been a while. Don't go past 2016. Okay. So start with only 2016 to now. And then I would find jobs that fit with what I had been doing before. So if, let's say, for example, you were a office secretary, you know, you want to find those types of admin roles from home. Apply to those and see what happens with your current experience. Excuse me. If any companies are biting, and make sure you're always customizing for each role. So, you're just going to go back, find your resume, make sure it's not going beyond 10 years, make sure it still sounds good and whatnot. That's your base resume. When you find a job, let's say the job is at Humana, they might want a little bit something different than Cigna. Cigna might want a little something different than Lightology. So you want to make sure you're customizing that base resume for each of those admin roles. And you might only be changing a few things here or there. The AI in the software, shameless plug, can help you if you don't feel confident with that. And so after about 30 to 60 days, you're doing your 25 a week, you've got 100 to 200 applications in. If nothing has happened, then you need to reassess the situation. It's looking like you're probably going to have to sort of go back to square one, to get back into the workforce. So then I would apply to roles that, of course, you're overqualified for. But, these companies are like, what have you done for me lately? So you want to apply to those beginner friendly, foot in the door. We're not looking for a whole lot of experienced positions. Something should happen there within, 30 to 60 days. If nothing is happening there, then there might be some other things going on, because those roles should be available for folks who you didn't even have any experience in that type of field. So that's what I would do. I'd start with basically picking up where you left off. If that doesn't work out, then try getting in, for those you don't really need experience type positions. If that doesn't work out, you might need a little bit more assistance because there's something going on there. And then also another strategy to help you fill in that gap are the 1099 companies. Those companies, they're very similar to what I was saying about those temp companies, where it's like come one, come all. You'll sort of weed yourself out if you're not a good fit. That's how those are. Working Solutions, love Working Solutions. I went live with Working Solutions a few months back. They were, doing their TurboTax campaign, but that is not the only campaign they have. Working Solutions gets new roles like every single week. And I was talking about them before they even knew who I was. So I have to put that in there, because I won't ever just shout out a company just because, I've worked with them. Back in the day when I was looking into all these different work from home positions, I went through the whole process for all of those 1099 companies. I even serviced with those 1099 companies. And I had said in a very old video that company I liked better because they didn't have any fees. Sometimes they might hook you up with a stipend at the end. And they seem to be a lot more fair than the other ones. Now, stuff can have changed, which, probably, but I will say that I liked them and they're a good one for sure. And it's easy to get started. So you can do those in the in-between time. Those are I call them like the Uber and the DoorDash of work from home jobs. It's not something that you're going to land on and stay at, but it's something for right now. So hopefully that helps. Wow, 10 years at a company. That's awesome. Yeah, you absolutely can put being a caregiver on your resume because that is a job. Home health care companies, people get paid to do that. And there was a position that I shared probably within like the last 2 months where they were hiring people to do like call center work, and you'd be working for this caregiving company. And I cannot think of the name of this company, but there's a lot of companies like that that offer in-home healthcare. And so you would be in the call center and you'd be helping guiding families with, getting in-home care for their loved ones. And it mentioned on the job description, if you have any experience with that, that would be great. So that would actually be something that I would look for, those companies. I would just look, like, you could literally go to Google and you could Google in-home healthcare companies. And just like how I show y'all with every company, find their careers page and search and see if they have anything remote. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that a lot of them have something remote. And that would be where I would try and, get my foot in working from home, because you know all about it. You know the struggles, you know what it looks like to, take care of someone. So you can answer those questions from like a first hand, experience. And if that's not what you want to ultimately do, that'll still be a great starting point so that you can have work from home experience and something recent on your resume. Because again, all these companies are about what have you done lately. They want to make sure that, you're with it. Because believe it or not, a lot of times folks want to work from home and they barely can use a computer. I told y'all, I've done like, those temp roles and whatnot before. And it's crazy to see people not know how to do like first day stuff. Like, I remember the lady was like, okay, go to your history and clear your cache. And like she walked us through it, very basic stuff. But even after doing that, this lady was like, oh, hold up, wait, let me go back, hold up, wait a minute. And like people were getting frustrated because it's like, this must be her first time using a computer. No shade, but practice. So that's why a lot of companies want to see that remote experience on your resume, because that lets them know, okay, very basic things you've got covered. But a lot of people don't have those basic things. Because if you think about it, most people use their phone or tablets now. Like, we've kind of gone to a place where people don't really type like that, the full keyboard. Most people are using their thumbs because that's how people, get on the internet and whatnot. They use their phone and a tablet. So then when you put a computer in front of them, they're almost lost, like deer in the headlights. You're welcome. I'm glad that was helpful. I didn't know if you want to hear the whole, shebang, but, sometimes you might have to do a little hybrid to get into certain fields, but then you can go full remote. I have never used that company. I've never shared Adecco. I'm not familiar with them. But, in the beginning of all my videos, when I show those companies, I always go to their Glassdoor. I always go to their website. And off camera, I always do a Google search. I always check out their LinkedIn and their socials. Anytime you're considering a company or you're, interested in them, make sure you do all those things, because you want to just make sure that you're giving your information to real people, a real company, not a scammer. It absolutely has to be something with his resume. Like when you're like you're in the military, these companies roll out the red carpet for you. So it's definitely something with, how he's structuring his experience and stuff on his resume because he's got a BA, he's in the military, he works in tech. It's probably just how he's presenting himself, um, because he's not entry level. He's definitely not entry level. And I wouldn't, and the other thing too about a lot of these roles where like they are beginner friendly and stuff, you might find that those are a lot more competitive than those higher tier roles because a lot of people are looking for something to get their foot in the door. So it's a bigger applicant pool versus if you are applying to something that requires like a minimum of 6 or 7 years experience, you're not going to be dealing with the same number of people applying for that 1 to 2 year of experience role. So I would make sure that he, revamps his resume, make sure he's customizing for every single job. Do not submit the same resume over and over again. Every company wants to hear something a little different. And then don't do entry level because he's not entry level. Yeah, a lot of people get their first remote position with no experience. Oh, you worked with them back in the 90s? Wow. That is crazy to think, like the 90s. I just I think about like what it would be like to work in, the office or something, and the computers are probably like the size of a room or something. I don't know. It is still raining. Wow, it's getting late, you guys. I'll stay on for a few more minutes. Oh, so Motorola was a client of Adecco? Oh, wow. Oh, I skipped something. Sorry for the repost, but I used to be a streamer and moderator for multiple platforms like Twitch, Discord, YouTube, Facebook. Do you have any suggestions on transferable skills to add to resume? Yeah, that's you're a moderator, so I'm a bit familiar with that, where you're making sure that people are following the platform's guidelines. There definitely is a tech type aspect to those. So I would, think about all of the things that you did. And to help you brainstorm, this is where the U plus AI comes in because, a lot of people like to use the AI. So you can, if possible, try finding those job descriptions. If you can't find like a current job description that fits with what you did at those companies, I would just list out, for example, deleted comments that didn't fit with community guidelines, reminded people of the rules, used fresh desk support desk to respond to tickets, blase. You get the point. So I would think about all the things that I did at each of those companies, and then you can ask AI, put that in there, and say like, "Hey AI, can you give me some resume friendly ways of phrasing this?" And the AI can help you, kind of put that in a way that sounds good on a resume. That's how I would go about doing it. And so then you could go from there and say, of these skills, what is transferable to insert position that you're interested in? And the AI can start helping you. So that's what I mean by like us plus, leveraging AI if we're gonna use it. Now, I am not telling anybody you have to use AI. I just know that a lot of people like using it. So that's where my answer is coming from. And you can kind of use it as a way to sort of bounce ideas off of, and that can kind of get your, ideas flowing. So that's what I would do. 25 plus. They hired a bunch of temps to work on phones, clean the lens, and put the phone together on an assembly line. That sounds like fun. I've never worked on an assembly line, but I don't know. In my head, that sounds like fun. I'm curious, what was y'all's favorite job you've ever had? Like, of all the jobs y'all have done, like, what was your favorite? Put it in the comments. And why was it your favorite? Hi, Todd. Banking. Oh, why'd you like banking? Oh, so you did have a good time. Face-to-face interactions. Oh, that's why you liked it. Working for a gaming company through Mod Squad, it was non-phone, involved something I was actually interested in. Cool. Yeah, I recommend folks for Mod Squad. Like, I've never serviced with that company, but I have seen they hire in a lot of places. You just gotta, stay up on their careers page. Like, I've seen places um, like Jamaica. I want to say I saw Nigeria, a lot of places. And a lot of times their roles can be non-phone or little phone friendly. Oh yeah, for sure. Instacart, DoorDash, those are great, get you through type things. And, as much as I have a sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't relationship with technology. We work remote, so we got to use technology. But I will say that one good thing is we've got options like that now. Like, imagine if this was like 1993 and you needed something to get you through while you're looking for a better position. You've got your kid's schedule, or, you might be working around someone else's schedule. You don't really have the kind of flexible options that we have now. You know, you can just start delivering, and when you're done, you're done. So that's something cool that technology has allowed us. Oh, you loved a working solutions position? Oh, it was no phone claims. Nice. Oh, medical billing, that was your favorite? And teaching preschool? Oh, you've got patience. Because, listen, my 4-year-old, it's like as soon as I start doing something, he wants to ask me to do another thing. And I ignore it because I'm doing the first thing he asked for. And so then he just keeps on. I can't imagine that with like 20 other kids. You're doing the Lord's work. I posted to the website. So I didn't post a hot leads video, but if you go to the website, there are 5 hot leads. And speaking of which, anytime you're like, hey, where's Delilah at? Go to my website. Because sometimes I'll just make a blog post. Like, rarely I'll do just the blog post. I usually do the video plus the blog post. But sometimes it's just the blog post. And I'll send an email out, but if you're not on the email list, just check my website. Now, one area of remote, hybrid work that I'm not up on is the mystery shopping. Years and years ago, I had signed up for a whole bunch of mystery shopping companies. I still get a couple of those emails. I never read them. I really am not the person to help with the mystery shopping. Um, but I have seen content around it. So I couldn't even tell you about that. I never went through with the mystery shopping just because it wasn't really what I was looking for. I would put that in the category of kind of like a Uber, DoorDash, and I'd probably even put it like a little less frequent, at least at the time. It was sort of something where it's like, hey, you want an extra, something, something, you can go do this mystery shopping thing. So I say all that to say I can't tell you much. You learned a lot of patience. Oh, your favorite was fraud investigation for medical and dental claims, auditing for medical and dental insurance, and training. Wow, you guys have some really diverse positions that were your favorite. Home health care, because there are no shortages of jobs. It was flexible in scheduling and is friendly to beginners, although one can get a home health aid certification. Oh, wow. That's another one of those roles where, you got to really be patient because you're helping people at their most vulnerable. Oh, the mystery shopping? Yeah. How many of y'all have done the mystery shopping? I never went through with it. Okay, so remote staffing agencies, you're really looking at BPOs, which is like the Working Solutions, the, companies like that. They get all these different clients and you can, get started with those clients. Now, it's not quite what you're looking for, I'm assuming, because typically with like a staffing agency, you go in and they kind of place you and all of that. I would look local. So it might not be remote. They might have some remote opportunities, they might not. I have seen a brick and mortar Kelly Services, for example. They have remote opportunities and they have brick and mortars, at least within like the last year, I saw a brick and mortar. What I would personally do is if you're into the staffing agencies, you can Google search staffing agencies in your town or within like the vicinity of you. And I would just go in and see what they're talking about, see if they can place you with any companies. And I have firsthand information that you can end up with a remote position going through an in-person staffing agency. I know a person who got into an insurance role with a major insurance company, and they actually started off as a temp going through a staffing agency. Now, let's pretend like you go through this and they don't have anything remote. Well, that's okay because we all want to work at the end of the day. And you can actually get on with some really great companies if you're willing to, go in even a little bit. Because there's a few people right now that I'm thinking about who I just talked to within the last year who they have very good careers. One person, like I said, works remote. They got hired through a staffing agency that was local to them. And the other two people, they do not work remote, but they got really great benefits and a really great job. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Oh, cool. See how they're treating people, same with apartment shopping. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Especially if, you're doing it as like, "Hey, this is extra." Oh, yeah. Wow, family empowerment strategist. That's really cool. Team nosy. I'm on that team. It gets me in trouble sometimes. I just like to know stuff. Yeah, Randstand is a good one. Alexander, give me a second. Is that the name? Is it Alexander? No, there's another company, and it's like I want to say Alexander, but it's not. It's gonna come to me as soon as I get off of here. But yeah, Randstand is good. Um, I'm looking through this like long list of bookmarks that I have. I cannot think of any companies today. I usually can just be like, "Oh yeah, that company, that company. Oh yeah, but not today." I can't think of any company today. But yeah, I would just start off with the Google search of staffing agencies local to you. And that also, oh, thank you. Yay, I'm glad you're enjoying the live. Thank you. I know work from home and finding jobs is not exactly the most exciting, but when we need information, we need information. But what was I about to say? Oh, yeah. I was gonna say for the folks who are open to, maybe you're at home, maybe you're remote, maybe, well, that's the same thing. Maybe you're remote, maybe you're hybrid, maybe you're in the office. You're gonna have a lot more to choose from versus it must be just this one thing. Now, I have said this because I have in this position that I'm in, I share the jobs and, I go places, I'm talking to people and whatnot. I hear a lot of people's stories and a lot of people's, struggles that they're having. And getting work right now, especially with, every time you turn around, you hear about this company laid off 15,000, that company laid off, such and such thousand. It is a blessing to have a job. That is why, I'm not the person who's going to tell you it's remote or nothing. I'm the remote work enthusiast, but I've said this many times. More than that, I'm just a keep myself and my family from under a bridge enthusiast. Okay. So if that means you got to work and that means you got to walk into somebody's office even a little bit, do it, because you have a job and there's a lot of people who don't. Okay. And you want to make sure that you keep yourself a job. So there's a lot of ways you can make stuff work. I remember when I was doing a rise, and this was almost 10 years ago. Okay, that's when I made some of my first videos and whatnot. There was this lady, our training started at, it was either 3 or 4. I remember one of the ladies who was on the virtual training with me, she was like, "Oh, I just got home," because she was coming from the office. So she worked her 9 to 5 in somebody's office, and then she came home and she did, a few hours of, one of these 1099 work from home roles. And she put it together like that. She had the best of both worlds. She was able to, find something flexible that she could do from home and work remote. And then she also had what I assume was a very good position that she wasn't even considering leaving. So, even if you are just doing something part-time or whatever it is from home. And then maybe you have something that you do like your full-time thing, mix it and match it whichever way you want to. It's just about, getting paid at the end of the day. Okay. Yes, having a job is a blessing and keeping a job is a blessing. Yeah, broad path for sure. Broad path has medical positions. That's interesting because a lot of companies are looking for someone bilingual. So I wonder if you're presenting yourself, well on your resume. Because there's a lot of companies that they need bilingual folks. And you'll see that they'll pay you they'll pay you more, at least $1 more per hour. Okay, you guys, it is 10. It's raining. It's late. I'm getting tired. Time to hit the hay. Okay. So tomorrow, I'll probably post at night. That's what it's looking like. So my next video, you guys can catch me, after dinner. That's when I'll post the hot leads, and then I'll be back to posting morning time. So I hope you guys have a blessed one. It's been great chatting with y'all. Make sure you are subscribed, have those notifications on if YouTube's not playing with me. They're always playing with me. Speaking of which, it's been almost a year to the day since they really started playing with your girl. But I'm still here, okay? By God's grace. So anyway, we'll chat more. But good night, y'all.